Afternoon and welcome everybody to this Facebook Live conversation. I'm Mayor Lyrian Gaylor-Baird, and with me today is Election Commissioner Dave Shively. We're so pleased to have you here today, Dave. We want to talk with all of our residents and educate them and prepare them for the upcoming election and what to expect in the coming days and weeks. And so thanks for being here to tell us the story and tell us how is the election going so far?
Well, it's going pretty good. It's like a crazy time for us here at the election office. It's a crazy time nationwide with the election as we try to prepare for an election and a pandemic and make sure that we're safe and ready to go. Things are just kind of been a whirlwind for us here over the last 2 to 3 months. And I don't think there'll probably be anyone more happy to have the election over than our staff next week to have it finished. We're here for the voters and here for the public, but I think we'll be happy to see election day come and go.
I know everyone in Lincoln and Lancaster County is so grateful for the work of you and your team. Thank you so much for finding ways for everyone to be safe and be able to make their voices heard and participate. Can you tell us what kinds of things are different this year from previous elections you've administered?
Well, we're going to do many of the same things that we did in the primary election. You'll see at your polling locations, but those were different, of course, from previous elections. We'll have our voters, our poll workers will all have masks and shields, and they'll have all the sanitation supplies that they need, sanitary wipes, sanitary spray and paper towels and hand sanitizer. We're just going to try to make sure that everyone is socially distanced. They'll have tape on the floor 6 feet apart to keep people, if there are lines at the polling location, to keep people 6 feet apart. We'll also place our polling booths at least 6 feet apart. One of the big things is it's different for this year, and it was different in the primary election as well, is that we sent out early vote applications to every registered voter in Lancaster County. And so that really pushed up our number of people that are voting early. We have over 88,000 people that have requested an early vote ballot, whether it was by mail or they've come to our office to vote in person. And so that'll certainly take some pressure off at the polling locations. We won't probably see quite the lines that we would normally see in a presidential election, but that's many of the things. And one of the things I'm sure people are going to be disappointed with, but we're trying to limit the contact between the voters but we're not going to hand out the I voted today stickers either at the polling locations. It's just one less contact between our poll workers and the voters when in this world of trying to socially distance.
Yeah, we all love those stickers. I miss them too. Although I noticed a lot of people on Facebook are using changing their profile picture to have an I voted circle around their image. So there's new ways to innovate and adapt without the actual paper stickers.
Right.
Can you tell us a little more about registering to vote? Is it too late, or can you tell us more about some upcoming election dates, key dates, and deadlines?
Sure. Well, the voter registration deadline, unfortunately, for anyone that would be new to Lancaster County, had not registered prior to that, was last Friday, and we had to do that in person. We had a previous deadline a week prior to that, if you were doing it by mail or using our online portal or doing it at a government agency such as the DMV. So all those deadlines have passed. Now, if you're currently registered in Lancaster County and you just move from one address to another address, you still have an opportunity to go to your polling site on election day and vote what we call a provisional ballot. And the biggest difference there is that there's additional paperwork to fill out. You'll be filling out a Nebraska voter registration application, and your ballot will be sealed in an envelope and won't be tabulated until we can verify that they didn't vote at another location or at another method. So if you were currently registered in Lancaster County, have just moved, you just didn't get updated, there's still that option for a voter if they'd like to still vote on election day. The other major deadline that we have at this point is the last date of early vote in person is Monday at 5 o'clock here at our office, Monday, November 2nd. We'll be open. We're open today here at our office at 601 North 46th until 5:30 today. We'll be open tomorrow 8 till 4:30. We'll actually be open Saturday morning from 8 till noon. And then Monday we'll be open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if people still want to early vote, they still have that option. I will warn people, though there is a line here at our office. Sometimes it's as long as maybe an hour to an hour and a half wait if you come here to vote early prior to election day. And part of the reason is that we have to limit the number of people that are in the office due to COVID issues. So that's causing the line is out the door. And we're in previous elections, we were bunched up in the office, and I had more staff that were actually assisting people. But due to COVID, we are limiting the number of people in the office right now. So people might find it easier to go to and not have as long a wait if they go on election day. If they could still do that, they probably won't have a line at their polling locations if we have this many people that have voted early.
But if they want to vote now through the 2nd of November in person at the election commissioner office, they should wear comfortable shoes and pack a snack and maybe bring their phone to keep themselves occupied while they wait in line.
And depending on the time, and some warm clothing as well, because they'll be outside. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And you said on election day you don't actually anticipate huge lines. Can you tell us about how safe it is for people to vote on election day at their normal polling sites, or what that might look like?
Well, I think probably even more so than in the May election, in the primary election. I think we have now all kind of understand what we need to do to keep ourselves safe. Wearing a mask, doing all those types of things. That's, what we hope all of our voters will do, be safe, use the hand sanitizer that we have, or if you have your own, both before and after that you vote at the election or at the polling locations. We will, if you don't have a mask, there will be masks available for voters at their polling locations, so they'll be offered a mask. There's just several things that that we're trying to do to make sure that the polling locations are safe. Again, as I said earlier, the polling booths will be set apart by 6 feet. We'll ask them to stand in line 6 feet apart. We have blue painter's tape that we're going to put on the floor. Ask our poll workers to put on the floor 6 feet apart, so when they're in line that they're waiting. So again, like we did in the primary, you'll be given a black pen to vote with, and that's kind of a souvenir for this election. You can take it with you. We don't want it back. We got plenty of pins, and so they can use those pins and keep them.
Well, and all these precautions not only keep us safe when we go to cast our ballots, but they keep your poll workers safe. And we're so grateful to all of the many people who volunteer to help you out this year. It sounds like you're staffed up and ready to go. Is that right?
We are staffed up, and I actually have a number of people, that we can still call and use. We were very fortunate with the different organizations, different groups of people, or people that just wanted to help out. We probably received over 400 to 500 applications of people that wanted to be poll workers, many from younger voters, but we had people older too that wanted to participate as well. Probably over half of our poll workers will either be their first time working or maybe their second time working at a polling location. So we still have, if we have people that end up not being able to work, we have people that have said they'll be backups at the last minute. So we feel really comfortable that we're going into Tuesday with a sufficient number of people to work the polling locations. So I will ask voters just to also remember, because there's so many new people there, that especially probably early on in the day, to be patient with the poll workers, because many of them will be the first time that they've ever done this.
Oh, it's so wonderful to see that kind of civic involvement from people in Lincoln. I'm not surprised at all to know that people have stepped up. We see that everywhere across our community right now. People are stepping up to help each other out. I'm so glad that's true for you and in preparation for the election. And so thanks to all of them. And yes, let's make sure we're kind. We give people grace. It's a learning process for everybody as we go.
I've often found with Lincoln and Lancaster County, I think us being the seat of state government, as well as many city and county employees, as well as federal employees here, that we're a very civic-minded community and county. Not to take anything away from any other county in Nebraska, but I just think we are, and we have a number of government employees from the local level up to the federal level that are poll workers and have been, and they enjoy doing that. And so, but of course, a number of people in the private sector as well.
Yeah. And it sounds like you've gotten some support as well in terms of grant funds to help cover some of these new kinds of expenses that support safe voting. Can you tell us a little bit more about the grant you got?
Yes, we were very surprised at a grant that we applied for, and we received over $400,000 that we will need to use for efforts that we did for this general election, for COVID issues and everything. And it was from a private association, and we found out about it. We applied for it. We thought maybe we would get under $50,000. There really wasn't a specific amount that we requested, and they came back with over $400,000 for us. So we were very happy and pleased with that.
Oh, well, congratulations, and thanks for finding ways to get more resources to support our friends and neighbors who are casting ballots.
Well, I think we first heard about it from one of the grant writers for the city. They forwarded it on to the county, so we appreciate that as well.
We have a good working relationship, good collaboration between the city and county here. So I'm glad that worked out. And on the subject of the ballots, can you tell us a little more of what your process is for opening and counting early ballots? We know it differs across the country. What's happening here locally?
Certainly, we're finding that out more and more because of so many people voting early nationwide. We find out what different rules are in different states. But Nebraska law allows us to begin the process of opening and separating the ballots from the envelopes the second Monday prior to the election. So we started that process on Monday of this week, and we have a group of over 20 volunteers that are helping us get those open, separated. It's a very time-consuming process because you have to take the ballot out of the envelope and unfold it and get it flat. So be prepared to vote. Be prepared for our tabulating machines come Monday, and Nebraska law does allow us to start tabulating early vote ballots on the Monday prior to the election. So not only in addition to that, we've had over 600 ballots requested from military and overseas voters, and that's probably a record for us for presidential. Always in the presidential year, that's when that's highest. But not only if they're in the military, but if they're maybe going to school overseas or missionaries or doing embassy work or something, and Lincoln is their a home of record, that they have requested an early vote ballot as well, which I think is kind of an interesting fact that a lot of people don't realize, that we have that many that do it that way.
That is incredible. Are you seeing any other kinds of trends or any other observations about how things are shaping up differently this year with regard to participation?
Our voter registration numbers are over 200,000. We've never been over 200,000. We're actually at 203,000 registered voters in Lancaster County right now. I think, as we continue to see the city grow, but not only the city, but other cities, the city of Lincoln grow, but other communities in the county, such as Waverly and Hickman and Bennett, have all continue to grow. We're just seeing a larger number of people registering to vote, and all you have to do, and Mayor, I know you're well aware of this, all you have to do is drive to the outskirts of Lincoln and you'll see all those new homes, apartment complexes being built. We know that our number of residents are growing, so if the number of residents are growing in Lincoln and the county, that means the number of registered voters will as well.
Yeah. Well, and you've made it so easy for people, easier than ever before for people to vote. And we're so appreciative of the collaboration with our public libraries, both here in Lincoln and in the county, so that through November 2nd, is that right? People can drop off their ballots in the library's safe lock boxes.
Correct. And we're picking those up daily. We've had very good success with that. I'll be interested to look at the numbers when we're all said and done with that. We do appreciate the libraries for stepping up and helping us out on that. We've mailed out over 88,000 absentee ballots. We have 85% of those back already. That's a really good percentage. We always know in a presidential year that the number of unreturned early vote ballots it's going to be the least amount that percentage-wise that we ever have. So actually, we expect to see in the first few days after ballots went out, we saw trays coming back of ballots, and now we're down to basically getting about one tray of ballots a day. So because so many have already been returned through the mail, and we're also seeing our drop box being used. You can watch our drop box here on the north side of our building, and there's almost always a car sitting in front of them dropping a ballot off right now.
Wonderful. So when do you think we'll have our election results here in Lancaster County?
Well, we'll have whatever early vote ballots that were cast or probably returned to us through Monday, all tabulated probably on Monday. We'll have to wait and see how things work on Tuesday, how many of those come back on Tuesday, and how many of those we can still get open. But the first results you'll see on 8 o'clock on election night will be the early vote results. So, the vast majority of those should be in the system, tabulated and in the system that we will release at 8 o'clock. We're not doing an afternoon pickup of ballots, which we sometimes do in a general election. Again, we decided that because of COVID and other issues, it was just easier for us to have them all brought back in the evening. And especially we won't have quite as many as we anticipated that, we normally would have in a presidential election. And it's only the front and back of one ballot page. So that kind of made our decision a little bit easier too, because we were worried at one point it would be the front and back of two ballot pages. But so the second results will probably be about 10 or 9 o'clock. We'll start the precincts that have returned their ballots so far on election day, and we'll probably release results every hour after that until we're done tabulating them. We could have a few absentee ballots that will be tabulated the next day or on Wednesday or Thursday. And then, of course, depending on how many provisional ballots we have up to 7 business days to get those reviewed and ready for tabulation. So we won't have final results on election night. And I always tell people that election night is the results are always unofficial, but hopefully we'll have everything done and certified by the second Friday after the election.
And given that that it may take longer in other states for some of the national races, what can you tell us about what is your message to voters to kind of expect on election night, just more generally?
Well, I think we'll have a pretty good feel for what's happening in Lancaster County and Nebraska on election night. I don't, unless we have some close races, I don't believe you're going to see, things dragging on in Nebraska. I mean, if there are some close races, whether they're statewide races or local races, those results could change with provisional votes or maybe some additional absentee ballots. Different states, as we talked about earlier, have different rules. And I've often been amazed how they can continue to keep counting ballots after election night because they're still opening them up. I know I have some friends that go out and assist in New York, and they were telling me 3 weeks out after their primary election, they were still reviewing absentee ballots. And that's just not the case in Nebraska. We'll have a pretty good idea on what our results are, unless we have close races, but that's just the way things happen if you have a close race. But I think we'll have a pretty good idea here in Nebraska.
Wonderful. Is there anything else you want our voters to know or to prepare for heading into November 3rd?
I guess I really want to remind people that have an early vote ballot that they do have, it's probably at this point, I would not mail the ballot. I would get it to one of our drop boxes. Our drop box here on the north side of our building at 601 North 46 is available 24/7. They can drop it off anytime. We've got a camera on it at all times. It's lit up out there. They can do it anytime over the weekend, but I would really encourage them to get that ballot back to us early. And remember that if you did vote early, you shouldn't go to your polling place and try to vote on election day. Sometimes people, I don't know if they forget or they think, well, it was a different election or what, but they'll be forced to vote a provisional ballot because it will be so noted in their in the poll workers list of voters that they received an absentee ballot. Doesn't necessarily mean we know whether they know whether it was returned or not, but they know that they were actually issued that ballot. Again, I just really hope people have patience with our poll workers on election day and thank them as they walk out or they come in for working, because we are in different times right now, and everyone wants to stay safe and secure, both the poll workers as well as our voters.
And then, my daughter is a first-time voter. She's away at college. She voted by mail. She was able to check the status of her ballot after she sent it back in. For anyone who's already dropped off their ballot, is there a place they can go on your website or the Secretary of State's website to check out the status?
Yes, we actually have a link on our website to the Secretary of State's website. It's voter view, and you can actually log on to that, and you can check your status of your ballot. You can also find out if you didn't vote early. You can also find out where your polling location is. But it's a voter view, and I think it's on the screen right now for voters. But they can check that website out to check whether the ballot was returned. If there was an issue with their ballot, sometimes people return their ballots and they forget to sign the envelope, and so that way it would tell them that was there, or if there were any other issues with them. But there's just different ways to check that. It's a very good and easy way to check those things out.
And on election night itself, if we want to check results, we go to your website. And what is that?
Yeah, our website is lancaster.ne.gov/election. And on the left-hand column, there'll be a sign for election results, and it'll take you to our election results page. And the very top one will be the November 3rd general election.
All right. Well, Commissioner Shively, thank you so much for everything you've done to make this safe and easy to vote during the pandemic. We are so grateful to you and your team. We're looking forward to you getting rest and relaxation once all this is over. And in the meantime, we're so grateful to have been able to count on your service so that we can make our voices be heard. Thank you again so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to the citizens of both Lincoln and Lancaster County.
All right. You could take good care. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.